Oh yes, we are back. Today I'm going to be going over some of the cards that were on my watch list, the ones that I missed, and also the ones that I bought. This is my eBay watch list. I thought we'd switch it up a little bit, guys. Stick around. To all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. It is another day. It is another sports card collectible style video. I hope that you guys are having a great day. I actually had to go get a crown replaced yesterday at the dentist. I was this close to needing a root canal, but they powered through and they got it done, so just had to replace it with another crown, so it wasn't too bad. If you're new here, you're looking for daily sports card collectibles, well, almost daily, sports card collectible style content with a tinge of entertainment mixed in. Then you have come to the right place. Please hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss a video every time they do come out. Also connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also on the Twitter machine, the SportsCardDad. All right, even with the Christmas holidays, I've been weaseling in some purchases here and there, been keeping an eye on some different things, and I'll just kind of walk through. There's a lot of variety here, guys, frankly. I do watch quite a few different things on eBay. Sometimes it's because I'm going after it. Other times it might be something where I own another copy or something similar, and I'm just curious as to how it's going to end. I think a lot of people do that as well, just to kind of see like where that ends up, just to see kind of where values are for certain things. Comparisons, if you will. All right, so I've been talking recently with Dakota Sports Card Anonymous as well as Filmington because I was looking to get in on some sealed product type stuff. I haven't really historically done that. I do have a couple of Stranger Things, Topps boxes, hobby boxes, but all in all, haven't really bought a lot of sealed product. So where this has changed here over the last few weeks is I have just become more and more sold on Joe Burrow, number one, and then also really the ascension of Jalen Hurts, number two, and that has caused me to really focus in on 2020 product for football cards and really retail, because let's face it, I just don't have the funds to really go in heavy on a hobby box or hobby boxes. They're still very expensive. Contenders is one of the products really that I'm looking at. Contenders, Optic Prism, I think that's it. I love Select, but I'm staying away from Select as they moved from just a hobby to also retail and just don't have a great rep based on that. A lot of people just kind of view Select as kind of, they kind of ruined that a little bit. It should have stayed just hobby only. But, Prism is, to me, relatively affordable. Now, granted, it's not cheap, don't get me wrong, but I also just think that with this particular draft class, that 2020 draft class, you're looking at Burrow, Justin Herbert, now Jalen Hurts, really part of that conversation, Tua in there as well. But honestly, let me just, real quick, I hope that Tua retires. It looks like he is in concussion protocol again, and I just worry about, honestly, like his long-term health. Not that he can't play football. I think that he's a solid NFL quarterback. He might not be, a Burrow or a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes, but he is a solid quarterback. But it's concerning how many head injuries this guy has in a short period of time, and I hope that he hangs it up and just takes it. I think he's got a guaranteed rookie contract of 25 or 30 million. Dude, just take the money and run. Honestly, I know you love football, but that stuff just worries me. So Tua is also in this draft class, but I'm not really counting him in. He's kind of more of a bonus. But then also Justin Jefferson, who's lighting the world on fire, wide receiver for the Vikings. He is also in that 2020 draft class. And so I'm looking at 2020, those QBs, along with 2017. I'm keeping an eye on 2017 because of Mahomes. 2018, you'll see here kind of as I put this thing up, I also had a contenders box I was looking at on the retail side as well. Is Baker Mayfield re-energizing his career in LA? Possibly. But then you've also got Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And between all these guys, if you look at Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, I really, and then Patrick Mahomes in 2017, I really think that these 5-6 guys are going to dominate the NFL over the next decade. And so that's where I'm kind of, as opposed to just buying a lot of, Joe Burrow cards or Herbert and just kind of betting on the one horse, I've decided to go in and I have bought a couple of boxes. I bought 9 Prism Blasters from Filmington. A shout out to Filmington. Thank you, sir. He's got a great YouTube channel as well, but he's very adept. He understands kind of this retail market as well as hobby boxes as well, but that sealed product product stuff. He does a lot in that space. So I reached out to him to get some advice. And then Dakota Sports Cards Anonymous has really been focused around 2021. I'm not as sold yet on Lawrence. I think he's been playing great. You can't deny it. I think Dakota made a video on this recently. When you look at the stats, looks like the Jags could sneak into the playoffs. You know, I mean, there's a lot of excitement there in Jacksonville, and Lawrence really kind of coming into his own. But again, it's kind of like 2017 where you're really just banking on Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a great guy to bank on for that draft class, but it's one guy, whereas I really just like 2020. I think Joe Burrow is that guy. And then I also just like, I like Herbert. Herbert kind of reminds me, I wonder if Herbert's going to have a Drew Brees style career where he spends the first 5 years as rookie contract in San Diego or Los Angeles with the Chargers, and then moves on to another team, and then does great things. Or, you know what, Sean Payton. I actually think that Sean Payton's going to join the Los Angeles Chargers next year. I think he's going to be the coach of the Chargers and Herbert next year, but that's just bold prediction time. But yeah, and then you have Jalen Hurts, who really kind of a question mark coming into the season. That's all gone away now. The Eagles, very good team, but Hurts has just really played well. So going in on a little bit of that 2020 product, that's kind of interesting to me. And then let's move on to Stranger Things. You guys know I collect Stranger Things cards. There was a couple of autographs from the 2020 Topps autograph collection that was sold online. Sold out very quickly. And the way these autos worked is they were numbered out of, I think they go out of 99, 50, 25, 10, and out of 5. And so there's Will Byers and Dustin Henderson. I did bid on the Dustin Henderson numbered out of 10 at 173. It sold for 202. The Will Byers sold for 250. I did not end up bidding on the Will Byers auto because I do have a few of his stuff. And so it's just kind of like, that's kind of just a bonus at this point. So I did try to get a deal on the Dustin Henderson one, but just didn't pan out, lost that one. Next up, we've got on-card Deion Sanders autographs, and I want a Falcons card. I'm not interested in the Cowboys or the 49ers, but primetime Falcons, man, I love kind of the old jerseys and stuff, the old helmets, the logo that they had. As a Saints fan, I know people think like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it's kind of like how I like the old Seattle Supersonics, logo, and there's some nostalgia there. Primetime played for the Falcons. We had to battle them. I've been looking at on-card Deion stuff with the Falcons, and there's stuff out there. The one thing I noticed with a lot of his autos is there's a little bit of smear there. The way it's written, there's not like really great autographs. I don't know if his pen's always run out of ink or the marker or whatever, but I haven't found a really clean on-card autos for him, so I've been a little bit picky. This is one I meant to bid on, forgot about it, and they had one bid for $99. I wish I'd got that one. 89 score, you guys know that's the set I love. I'm looking for PSA 10s for Aikman and Irvin and Barry Sanders, of course, among others. And I've been following the Troy Aikmans here. This one sold for $545. Those have kind of held steady for a while. I'm really kind of seeing if there's a dip there with some of those PSA 10 89 scores as we move into 2023. A card that I did buy, and just because I like it. This is kind of one of those PC cards. I wanted to sit on it and hold it. Not a rare card by any stretch. There's a lot of these in PSA 10. I think over 1,000 or so. It's a 2019 Luka Silver Prism in a PSA 10. I won an auction at $74. There's a bunch of them just sitting on eBay right now. I think for like $100, $120 or best offer. So not any sort of great deal, but just a card that I think is really cool. Luka is kind of one of those guys that I collect. I've said it before. I like silver prisms. I'm collecting a lot of Tom Brady silver prisms. I'm collecting Drew Brees silver prisms and some of the other like color variations as well of prism. But that was just a card that I saw it and I wanted it. Along kind of that prism line, 2016 Tom Brady red crystals numbered out of 75. Always looking for the prism numbered stuff. The red crystals, not a color match with the Patriots, but the Tom Brady with the Bucks is sort of a color match, sort of. But you don't see a lot of that low numbered stuff. Numbered out of 75, pretty low numbered, especially when you go back to 2016. And BGS 9.5. BGS 9.5s, of course, come down a lot in price. So I've been watching Tom Brady stuff in BGS 9.5. And this one sold for $222. That's one where I could have gone either way on it. But at that price, I thought that was actually a fair price. I did lose it. I bid like right in that 150 to 160 area just to see if I could catch it at a low price. Did not pan out for me. 2014 Select Silver Tom Brady in a PSA 10. This one sold at 164. I forgot about it. I don't know if I would have bid above 164, but again, this is kind of showing you I'm looking for kind of those lower population Tom Brady stuff. And as you go back to that 2012 Panini products up to 2016, even into 17 and 18, it's just the print runs on that stuff, especially in football, far less than what you saw in basketball. The products just weren't as popular going back to 2012, 2016, as they really picked up steam beyond that. So I'm paying attention to all that stuff. Oh, here's a card from my childhood that I just wanted to add to my personal collection. 89 Hoops David Robinson. If you're my age and you collected cards back in the late 80s, early 90s, you know this card. It was the big time card at card shows. I remember seeing this at $50 raw, easily $75 raw. And this is the David Robinson, the Admiral PSA 10, right at $300. I missed this one. But again, this is one that I think there might be 800 or 1,000 in a PSA 10 on the population report. It's not a super rare card, but it has been kind of coming down a little bit in price because it's David Robinson. He's not necessarily on everybody's radar, but this is a key card going back to 1989, 90, 91. This was a chase card. I would like to have one at some point. So it'll happen. But again, none of these cards are mega scarce, to where I wouldn't be able to get a hold of it. One card, this next card I want to talk about that I was watching a couple of, I actually saw, I think it was on Sports Card Investor's latest video. They were talking about Trae Young Silver Prisms and PSA 10 and how far they'd come down in price. And I think they mentioned like $350, $400. These two ended at about $300. And so even though I'm not some massive Trae Young fan, he does put up some big time numbers. And I just kind of wonder down the road, if he's not on the Hawks, maybe he goes on to the Lakers, or he goes on to a team with some more fanfare, or just gets onto a good team and he wins a title. These silver prisms, if they drop down to a couple $100, even $250, I might snag one, because again, these were cards that were expensive, a lot more expensive. And I think they were saying on that episode that I think Luka is selling at 6 or 7 times what Trae Young is selling for. Neither one of them have titles or are on amazing teams. And so Trae Young, kind of an interesting one for me. So if those go lower, I'm watching those. I am watching them. I didn't pick any of these up, but they're on the watch list. For all of my vintage fans out there, you're probably thinking, dude, you don't have any vintage cards on your watch list. I do have one in particular that I am probably going to pull the trigger on, assuming we can make a deal. I'm not going to say what it is because there's only one of them, but it's a 61 Fleer basketball card, to give you kind of a teaser on that one. But I don't want to say exactly what it is because there's only one sitting there on eBay right now. I have to make offers on it. We'll see what happens. But I am still eyeballing the vintage stuff too, but I kind of do it in waves. Sometimes I'm looking at a lot of vintage stuff. Sometimes I'm looking at sealed products. Sometimes I'm looking at non-sports culture cards. So we'll see. But all right, guys, let me know in the comments, what are you watching? What's on your watch list? Let me know your thoughts. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.